After my first flight with Frontier Airlines, I joined the masses at America's busiest airport. Atlanta is a city that emphasizes personal vehicles as the way to get around all of the sprawling region. But there is a heavy rail metro system, of which two lines sharing a single corridor run south from downtown Atlanta to Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. MARTA is Atlanta's transit agency. Their system is mostly comprised of bus routes, but they also operate 4 heavy rail metro lines in a variety of configurations. From the airport, the gold and red lines run north to downtown, first on an elevated structure, then in some various configurations of grade separation, before descending to a subway under downtown.
Inner is a ways that way, and then the Amtrak train is a ways further.
Day passes are available, but since I had only 6 hours until Amtrak's Crescent train picked me up for my overnight journey to Washington, D.C., I simply purchased with MARTA's phone app a couple regular fares, as well as a couple for Atlanta Streetcar, which I'll be riding later in this video. MARTA Rail, like its sister systems in D.C. and the Bay Area, has the look of America's vision for the next generation of subway trains, as pictured by the minds of the 60s. The look has been maintained in its successive generations of train car design, all of which run via third rail power on standard gauge rails. Rehabilitations of cars have replaced padded seats with plastic shells that clean up and hold up well to the modest ridership they see. MARTA is America's 8th busiest subway system, halfway up the list just behind its counterpart BART, and leagues behind WMATA in D.C. Going to the airport is a useful feature of the system, and train lines follow population density fairly closely. What they don't follow is the sprawl of the past 20 years like Georgia has done with highway construction. Atlanta's freeways are vast routes that both encircle as well as run straight through the city core. MARTA's spoke and hub system was its initial design, and so it remains. Stations are designed to support the capacity of the heavy rail network, even in its modest span of coverage. But there's limits to both the frequency and distance one can go from these stations by public transit. MARTA has a large network of bus routes across 3 counties, but these routes are infrequent. Much like it is in the Twin Cities of Minnesota where I live, suburban planning has spread out Atlanta residents across lower density suburbs and a landscape that features hillsides becoming mountains, as well as some dense forests. Surface streets get congested as easily as freeways during peak time, but that's become the norm for residents in cars who aren't looking to MARTA for daily commute choices as much as they are sticking to the convenience of leaving whenever you want by personal vehicle. Atlanta by public transit is limited to within the first ring beltway of a major metropolitan area that has grown to successive beltways, lanes of traffic, and commercial development outside the city center. When these metro systems were built in the 1970s, and in MARTA's case throughout the 1980s, planners couldn't have foreseen the sprawl that was to come, nor the growth of franchised commerce that reduced the need to commute to a central hub of the city. That was made more irrelevant in the recent decade by working from home and major businesses headquartering further away from downtown. Culture moved beyond downtown Atlanta years ago, and cities that sprang up in the counties beyond MARTA's zone of coverage didn't vote for public transit expansions. But Atlanta itself is still a highly relevant destination for transit tourism by those like myself that want to see from where a culture sprang up. And Atlanta is a city with many roads leading to places with stories that have been kindled by residents over decades. On a lot of those roads there are buses and even some access to the MARTA rail system. And MARTA has had to shoulder some responsibility for bridging divided neighborhoods over past decades of it and highway expansion. Rail expansion has been eyed by community leadership, but this has had wavering, often chaotic levels of support by MARTA and city government. There's very much an emphasis on cars around even the urban core of Atlanta. I know, big surprise. But Atlanta isn't far removed from major cities up the East Coast. Its rail network was to be the federally funded 3rd project of the next generation subway systems to go to Seattle. But their cancellation allowed MARTA to reframe its system around the subway. The stately nature of this historically notable metro has undoubtedly contributed to its longevity. It's much harder to delete a project like MARTA versus supporting it over time. Though it's been a consistently animous relationship with state and local government to keep it funded, MARTA's open-ended rail lines have the capability and capacity to be expanded upon in the future.
Well, that was pretty good. It's definitely way less formal than WMATA in DC, and definitely not the California system. It's kind of funky. It's kind of like Dallas, but it smells and is a lot cleaner. That's a lot of elevation. This feels kind of straight up. I'm serious. It's like, it feels like we are going straight up. Yeah, this is quite a ride. We're at the top of the mountain. Oh good, more. Doesn't smell so good now.
But Georgia doesn't provide the political momentum to expand like BART has in California, and its sporadic large-scale national events that have propelled investment in the system in the past, most notably the 1996 Olympic Games, leave MARTA's system a modern stalwart.
So it turns out Peachtree Center is a really long station, and I came out on the really north end. Statue almost slapped me.
It exists as an alternative to driving, mostly when parking costs in or traffic to downtown during events is more costly and time-consuming than utilizing its many park-and-rides and riding in from the suburbs.
Hey buddy, see you later buddy. Just walked into the streetcar station. Downtown's not as big here as it looks on the map. Because I haven't had a proper meal all day, I think I'm just gonna walk down to the Waffle House. I'm glad we don't have to do anything specifically on this trip other than catch a train. See, I can already see the Waffle House. That would have been really silly to wait 11 minutes. But my hunger is much greater than 11 minutes. Let's go with some dinner or lunch or the main meal of the day. It's been several years. I wonder if they can make iced coffee.
I love a good, open Waffle House. Those are the basic categories into which they can positively fall. This is the only technically urban Waffle House I've visited. The patty melt tasted like an omelet. You get all the flavors from the flat top into the meat. It was just stunning. Atlanta Streetcar is a looping modern American streetcar. Opened in 2014, it provides access to a swath of downtown for those situated on the opposite side. It connects to MARTA Rail at Peachtree Center. It's very much like Cincinnati's streetcar loop, but the vehicles are Siemens low-floor trams very similar to what I rode in Minnesota on light rail earlier this day. Counterclockwise loop from Olympic Park to King Historic District.
It's a Siemens light rail vehicle. Yeah.
Sweet Auburn Public Market is a big main attraction on the east side, but Dobbs Plaza, the King District, and Olympic Park are very cool too. This is my first paid streetcar ride since Portland, Oregon back in 2020. It didn't feel like the tram had signal priority. One tram I attempted to ride prior to dinner was running late, putting at least 15 minutes as a possible frequency between trams. Given the elevation of downtown and the surrounding neighborhoods, traffic, and weather, this is a good idea that could be bolstered by expansion of the line. It's useful for the neighborhoods, and businesses along the line seem to be benefiting from ridership. A couple dozen got on during my Saturday evening ride, but overall ridership throughout the year is low, likely due to its limited scope of operation. City leaders have this year gone cool on expanding the streetcar east or west, instead opting for a protracted vision to build toward neighborhoods south of downtown. In reality, any potential network success depends on the compatibility of the streets with the streetcar. More investment is almost always required to get that right, or to buy up right-of-way for grade separation, and at that point it becomes a tramway and a whole different set of goals and obstacles. MARTA recently went more in on BRT, the first line of which is opening beyond downtown this year, so I'm told. A proposed ring route for rail or a streetcar around Greater Atlanta was set aside in favor of a trail, and more BRT lines to be studied and implemented around the trail and elsewhere. Sounds a lot like the Twin Cities, but with hints of Queens Link in New York City. But make no mistake, Atlanta's transit challenges come with the assurance that MARTA Rail's established investment in its core rail system will continue to be its backbone, regardless of the direction of associated projects. Infill stations on MARTA rail lines are going forward, and modernization continues for the existing network. New rail cars built by Stadler are in production, which may be the most striking future change to MARTA rail. Ultimately, this system is likely to experience constraints to its expansion like most American transit projects have this decade. Despite high traffic volumes, Atlanta is a metro area that can see the benefit of relief in the form of public transit as a total transportation network contributor. They just need a little bit more bolstering in that mindset. It's not cars versus trains versus buses, it's all together as a solution for everyone.
Please hold on as this vehicle starts and stops unexpectedly. Our next stop is Dog. Please hold on as we stop. Please watch your step as you exit. We are approved. Welcome aboard the Atlanta Streetcar, bound for the Centennial Olympic Park. Please hold on as we stop. Please watch your step as you exit. Welcome aboard the Atlanta Streetcar, bound for Centennial Olympic Park. Please exit here for MARTA Red and Gold Line and Atlanta Fulton County Central Library.
Well, that sure was another American streetcar. Let's get back on MARTA, head up toward the Amtrak station. It is enormous. Wow. On the ride up here, the operator had to tell a guy getting on at one station to put his shirt on. So the guy put his shirt on over his head and shoulders and arms. And then this girl he was with helped him put it over the backpack he was wearing. And that's just what he went with. That's what I'm gonna remember.
Intercity rail here is less present than it is on Georgia's short Atlantic coastline around Savannah, with Amtrak's Crescent being Atlanta's only passenger train running on freight lines through the capital city.
They do toot!
Red Line trains are servicing North Springs to Lindbergh.
Between vast congested highways and one of the world's busiest airports, MARTA is maintaining their own small system in a basically robust way that is open to future expansion and patiently awaits the chance to serve more of Old Terminus and the people who visit.
Center for the Visually Impaired. The Georgia Tech Trolley, Georgia Tech Mechanics Pavilion, the Margaret Mitchell House and Museum, Piedmont Park, and connecting bus service to Cumberland Mall. In bus service to the Consulate General of Mexico.
I checked the sign.
Tell you, the guy playing Silent Night on a speaker on the train in the end of May is quite the feeling. It's beside a lot of rail too. When we leave on the train here in a few hours, we're going to be running parallel to this track. So we're going to catch the southbound Gold Line train here. I hopped off at Chambly just in the case that Doraville train just turns right around and I can't go outside and say any of this. So good night. At least it's good weather.
I'm off to DC to ride the sister system to MARTA, WMATA's metro system. Check out that video. The Crescent's already on the channel, and I'll be on WMATA in the future. Be sure to like and subscribe to see that and where else I'll be going next week and in the future. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and we're here to pick up Amtrak's train 20, northbound Crescent.
It fits in the frame.